Hola, it's me, Vicky Marie. Excuse me, my voice is completely going today. I've been talking a lot about, working a lot. Hi, Michelle. Sorry, gosh, I think my voice is about to go. Okay, so good evening. I hope you're all okay. I wasn't going to come on live tonight because I have had a long day. I've only just finished classes. As you know, I'm a Spanish teacher in my other life. But this thing about Fiona Phillips, being diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Hi, Rachel. Being diagnosed with Alzheimer's at a young age. I know if you're young, hi, Princess. If you're very young, you won't think that 62 is a young age, but of course it is a young age to be diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Oh my God, will I actually get through this live? Anyway, what I'd like to say first is cheers. Here's to the NHS that is 75 years old today. Cheers, I have got a wine tonight. It's my first one on it. Just a long day, but anyway, in a good way. I mean, work is good. So I thought, I won't do this live tonight. I'll do it tomorrow or something. But I just thought, no, I want to come on and talk about it. Cheers. All right, okay. That doesn't float my boat, that. But you know what? Everybody's got their thing, haven't they? It's been less calories, I'll say that. So it's a shame, but just I don't know, just never really liked it. But anyway, certainly less calories, Princess. So I've got distracted already. So 75 years of the NHS today. Cheers, NHS. Any excuse for just another sip. Oh, that's right. I was going to do it in Spanish because the other reason that I wanted to talk about this is learning a language supposedly prevents you or helps you not to get Alzheimer's, etc. And I hope that works because Alzheimer's runs through my entire family. You know, I'll explain about that in a minute, but I'll just tell you how to say cheers in Spanish. You can do it the quick way and say salud. Very easy to remember. Or you can do it the complicated way, which is more fun, which is arriba, which means up, abajo, down, centro, to the center, and dentro, inside. So there you go. If you want to do a proper toast in Spanish, you go arriba, abajo, centro, dentro. Hi, Charlie. Well, cheers to you as well. Hi, Napper's Mum. Yeah. So salud, or you can do it the complicated way. Well, Charlie, perfecto. Do you speak Spanish, Charlie? Arriba, abajo, al centro y pa dentro. Yeah, good. Are you, I bet you're fluent in Spanish, aren't you? And you just haven't told me that before. Just see if I can really speak Spanish. So this was the news today, or part of the, I was going to do about Fiona this morning, and then I saw the story about Captain Tom. So I ended up doing that story, and that led to, and then I was going to do them together. Then that led to other stories. And, you know, sometimes I think I could just be on live stream 24 hours a day sometimes and just see what pops up and what we can chat about. Charlie, you live in Spain. Do I know you? Or which part of Spain are you in? Hola, Jackie. Yeah, we've just been doing the arriba, abajo, centro, dentro. Oh, I didn't know you lived in Spain, Charlie. No, you've not told me that before. Anyway, right, so where was I? Apart from drinking wine, I could just sit here and drink wine, really. It has been a long day. I've had a lot of classes. As I say, I'm not complaining about that. No, I did the live. I just feel tired, but it won't stop me from talking. So I want to talk about hi Ruth. Oh, that's nice. Oh, Barcelona. Barcelona is a beautiful place. Of course, they speak Catalan there, don't they, as well? So, but I've been to Barcelona, and it's lovely because it's greener there, isn't it? I'm in the south, and it's a bit more, it's hotter for a start. But in Barcelona, it's more, more trees, aren't there, and things. I like it. I like Barcelona. Okay, right. Let me go back to where I was. So yeah, so poor Fiona. So she's 62 years old. Do we all remember Fiona? Let me see. My sharing thing is not good. Let me put a photo of her up while we're talking about her. Bless her. Yes. So I remember she used to be a presenter. I haven't seen her. Well, I don't really watch the TV now, but of course she was a presenter on Good Morning Britain or whatever. And her husband is Martin Frizzell, the aubergine guy who's the mate of Phillips Schofield, and the guy who tried to push the narrative about Madeleine McCann that she was kidnapped. And I don't like Martin Frizzell. I always liked Fiona. I don't know, but she married Martin Frizzell. Don't know what that says about her, but she seems like a nice person. Anyway, you wouldn't wish Alzheimer's on anybody, would you? Even your worst enemy. So she says she's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's at the age of 62. And she said that she discovered she had the disease a year ago after suffering months of brain fog and anxiety. Oof, it's a shame, isn't it? Anyway, she said that dementia had decimated her family after her mother, father, and uncle also had the disease. But she added she was getting on with it. Now, I believe, I don't know if it's true, that if you get diagnosed with Alzheimer's now, there is a treatment. It can't stop it, but it can slow it down or halt it or delay it. So hopefully, she's on whatever drugs it is that work for people with Alzheimer's. But I don't think there's a proper cure for it, in the sense that you don't recover from Alzheimer's, do you? It just gets worse gradually. So the mother of two, who is a columnist for the Mirror, told editor Alison Phillips she was trying to carry on as normal but wanted to share her story to help others. And she said that despite fearing she would one day be diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it still had come as a shock when her doctor said her test results showed early stages of the disease. And it's something I might have thought I'd get at 80, she says, but I was still only 61 years old. And she said that she felt more angry than anything else because the disease had already had such an impact on her family life. Her mum was crippled with it, then her dad, her grandparents, her uncle. It just keeps coming back for us. So she's undergoing trials at the University College Hospital in London, or this must be this drug that I was talking about, for a drug called Miridisap, which could potentially slow the effects of the disease. And she also, sorry, I wouldn't let Martin Frizzell give me any medication. I shouldn't say that, I know, but he chills me a little bit. I don't know why, but I don't get a good feeling about it. But anyway, she also described how her husband, Martin Frizzell, the editor of ITV's This Morning programme, had been helping her take the medication. So she has to inject it into her stomach by the sound of it. And she said these drugs are brand new. They're expecting a lot from this, and so am I. Well, I hope it works. Anyway, so she said, I'm just getting on with it. I'm not taking notice of it. So let's hope that the drugs work, and that if she's helping with the trials, etc. Right, who have I not said hello to? Yeah. Hi, Desi. I don't know, Charlie, if it's identified through a blood test or a cognitive test. Hi, Maltese. Oh, Rachel, please don't say it's genetic, because then the story that I want to tell is, as well, is, yeah, celebs getting it done. Your mum tried to get help, nobody listens. Well, I won't ask you, but I don't know what area. You know, it is a postcode lottery as well. I mean, obviously, she's a celebrity. She may well have gone private, because I'm sure, you know, she's got a few bob. But even if you haven't, it is a bit of a postcode lottery, isn't it? The treatment that you get about anything, you know, because it just depends where you are. So my mum. Oh, Desi, you're studying dementia. Okay, well, we're all going to come to you when we've got problems. Right, Cleethorpes. I don't know Cleethorpes. Oh, it's a brain scan, yeah, because I think your brain's altered, isn't it, if you've got Alzheimer's? I don't know. Right, we're all going to go to Desi when we want advice, because she's studying dementia in her mental health course. So we've got an expert in the group. But yeah, unfortunately, my mum, that's what I mean. When I think about it, I think my mum started with dementia. She gave up smoking. Now, she'd smoked for forever, since she was about 12. You know, she was that generation where smoking now is a bit like, young people don't like to smoke, do it? Well, it's all vaping these days. But then smoking was, God, if you didn't smoke, you were weird when my mum was young. And a story she always used to tell me was that for her 14th birthday, her mum gave her a handbag with a packet of 20 cigarettes inside, which sort of made, you know. But my mum, she was characterised by smoking. She wasn't just a smoker. She was a Bette Davis. If any of you know the actress, that was her favourite actress, Bette Davis. And my mum actually had a cigarette holder, which Bette Davis used to use in all her films. And it was just part of her personality. And so when she gave up smoking in the end. She had to, because she had asthma as she got older. She was probably around about 60 years old when she gave up smoking. And her personality changed completely. I swear. And I do know that smoking does, you know, that obviously smoking has got a lot of terrible effects. But there are two good effects that it has. One is it sharpens your brain. It does sharpen your brain. It's been proven. And people who give up smoking, they do notice a difference. And it helps you to lose, you know, it helps you to lose weight. It does something about the way your food is digested, etc. So those, if you can cut, you know, obviously all the negative things about smoking outweigh the positive, but you know, there they are. And I saw that with my mum. You know, she gave up smoking, and that's when I think she started to be a bit more. The other thing she did, I think she didn't do enough with her time. Like she just, my dad was working, and then when he retired, he then even took over like all the household things and stuff, and she didn't really do much. She didn't do enough. She didn't do it, I think, to stimulate her brain, but it might not have made any difference. I don't know. Anyway, she started gradually with dementia, and you know, you don't know the trouble with the dementia or Alzheimer's. It's a very gradual thing. You know, it doesn't just happen overnight. So, you know, when I look back now, I can see the signs with my mum, but I was living away. I was living in Reading, and then I came to live in Spain. But I used to get letters from my dad. One of the reasons I'm glad that I came to live in Spain is my dad would actually write to me. Remember the days when we used to actually write to each other. So I've got letters from my dad, which none of the rest of my family have got, because they never needed to write a letter, because they were all living like close by. And he told me, you know, some of the things that were going on and that. And now when I look back, I can see he was struggling to look after her. I'm missing. I know I can see you chatting in chat, and that's good, because I'm not managing to see all the chat. That's good, because I can keep my focus then. So yeah, and I noticed it especially with my mum. Then my dad unfortunately passed away very suddenly. I think with the pressure of looking after my mum, because he was one of those that, again, that generation wouldn't ask for help or anything. He would just try and cope with it, and I think that was not a good thing for him. So he sort of passed very suddenly. And my sister started looking at I've got two sisters. One of my sisters started looking after my mum. And then I would phone from here. I would phone her up, and I saw the deterioration over the phone, which sounds ridiculous, but I would phone her and she would start off, "Oh, hiya, how are you doing? How's, my son?" And she would, and then suddenly, halfway through the conversation, she would say, "You do know my husband died, don't you?" And I'd say, "Yeah, yeah, Mum, I do know, because this is Vicky," and then she'd go, "Oh, yeah, yeah," and then she'd lose it again, so she would wander, first of all, and then eventually it was just pointless phoning her, because unless she could actually see you in front of her, she didn't know who you were. So I would phone her and she'd say, "Oh, yeah," and then you could tell she didn't know. 48, Princess. That's very young, isn't it, to start? But yeah. Anyway, so that was my mum, and then eventually my mum did pass away, as complications really from dementia and things like that. Then my brother, he's quite a lot older than me, maybe 14, 15 years older than me. But he got it as well. He started with it. And again, I didn't know for quite a long time, because I'm here. And we used to always have a Zoom call or a Skype call once a month and chat. And then he'd start making it, when I think back on it now, because I actually got a little bit I was thinking he's trying to avoid speaking to me. So I'd say, "Oh, we're going to have our Zoom call." And he'd say, "Oh, yeah, okay," and then he'd never actually arrange it. We'd never get around to arranging it, or he'd make an excuse that he didn't want to. And I was thinking, have I upset him, because he doesn't seem to want to speak to me? But now, knowing what I know now, I know he was just getting to a point where it was difficult for him to speak to people. And his wife, my sister-in-law, she did the same as my dad did. She tried to cover it up for a very long time, because she didn't want to. I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because you don't, everybody wants to be independent. Anyway, to cut a long story short, what happened was they had an accident one day. My brother fell and he pulled my sister-in-law down with him, and she broke her hip. He was fine, but she broke her hip and she was in hospital for quite a long time. And so his son moved in with my brother, to look after him. And I suddenly got this sort of panic message from my brother, from my nephew, saying, "Oh God, this is awful, we've got social services in and this is happening and that." And I was like, what do you mean social services? Social services for what? And it transpired that my sister-in-law had been trying to look after him, but really he needed 3 health visitors a day to come in and make sure he was okay and stuff. And then luckily, I say luckily, but just before COVID, because I don't know what would have happened if it would have been actually in COVID, he fell out of bed and he hurt himself, and it meant he was taken to hospital, and they assessed him, and they assessed that he needed 24-hour care. So my poor sister-in-law had been struggling to look after him on her own, and he was 70, she was a little bit older, 72, 73, trying to look after him. And he got taken into a home, and a lovely home. I might have spoken about it before, I think, on the videos, and so he was looked after. But unfortunately, after a couple of years, after COVID, actually survived COVID, and then he too passed away from this world with complications from dementia. Then, so I have, there were 5 siblings in my family. So he was my older brother. He unfortunately has gone. And then my older sister, She's now started with it, and she's in a home as well with it. So it's not looking good for the rest of us. When we talk about what's the word? When myself and my other sister and my brother, we talk about it, and we say, oh, we hope we take after Dad rather than Mum, because Dad never had any dementia or anything like that. He was as sharp as anything. So we're hoping we take over that side of the family. Then the other thing I'm hoping is, oh dear, there's obviously a lot of, are you all okay in there in chat? Okay, well, I'm glad you're all chatting there, as long as you're okay. As long as you're okay. I hope I haven't started you all off on a very sad subject, but it has to be talked about, doesn't it? So what's the next thing I was going to say? But the good news is, if you learn another language, it helps you, or it helps stave off Alzheimer's, etc. I'm not getting upset. I'm fine. Honestly, I'm fine. Now, did any of you see? Let's see if I can find that right. I've done that. I'll just cross out the ones that I don't need. Did any of you see this television program that I'm going to put on? I watched it a couple of years ago. Present. Share screen. Yeah, did any of you watch this television program that was on in 2018, where all these celebrities, actually I'd forgotten that some of them that were in it. I remember June, you know, the lady from EastEnders. I remembered Sean Ryder because he was hilarious. That's Sherry Hewson, isn't it? I can't remember this lady's name that's in the soap. This lady was from Gogglebox, wasn't she? This guy was from EastEnders. That's Russell Brand. Anyway, those celebrities, they took part in an experiment designed by this professor in global aging. And when they all turned up to this island in Italy, he measured their face age, their brain age, it was their body age, all different. He measured all of them, what their ages were, and compared them with what their real ages were. And it was really interesting because, you know, June Brown, who unfortunately has passed now, she has passed away from this world, who used to be in EastEnders, of course, as Doc Cotton. She was 90 years old when she went into this program, and she had smoked for 72 years. And she would not give up for the show. One condition of going onto the show said she would not give up smoking. So they spent 21 days in Sardinia, where they were asked to commit to strict, individually designed diets and exercise routines. Giving up smoking, drinking, sugar, bread, pasta, starches, eating high protein, low carb, good fats diet with plenty of fish, eggs, cheese, etc. And they lost, altogether between them, they lost 100 years between them. Now, what was really interesting, did any of you watch it? I'm coming back to see. Did anybody watch it? Never without a fag in a hand, yeah. If anyone watched that program, what was interesting was June Brown, who's Doc Cotton, her brain age was really, really young. You know, although she was 90, she had a brain age of maybe 50 or something like that. And because she has to learn lines for the show. So that's what the doctor said was because she's constantly learning lines for EastEnders, that keeps her brain age going, you know, sort of helps her brain age. So yeah, Sandra, yeah, why is she not on it anymore? I loved her as well, her and a friend. They were hilarious, weren't they? But they're not on it anymore. I do like Gogglebox. That's one of my favourite programmes. It does make you laugh. Well, and then Sean Ryder, of course, from the Happy Mondays, his brain age was terrible because of the drugs that he's taken over the years. And, you know, he really struggled with the brain age. And then there were others had better body age. June Brown, she wanted to put on weight, but she could not put on weight because of the smoking. You know, they said to her, if you give up smoking, you will put on weight. And she wouldn't give up smoking, so she couldn't put on weight. But that's right. Some people are sharp as a tack. Hi, Joe H. Yeah, it was called. I mean, I don't know if you can still watch it. What was it called? Celebrity something, I suppose. Let me just see if I can find the actual name of the program. Yeah. Anyway, it was an experiment that was designed by Stirling University. 100 years younger in 21 days, it was called. 100 years younger in 21 days. Very interesting. I would recommend, if you might be able to get it on YouTube or something like that. 100 years younger in 21 days. It was very good and very interesting. And one of the things that they said was that to keep your brain age young, you should learn a language. So they tried to teach them how to speak Italian, because obviously they're in Sardinia, they're in Italy, and so they all had to go for Italian lessons. And the one who did really well with that was June Brown, because again she's used to sort of having to learn her lines. Sean Ryder was rubbish. He practically gave up. He got the right ump because he just didn't like it at all. He got the right ump and said he was walking out the program and everything. But anyway, he didn't. He stuck with it. So that's where this is my cue now to tell you about my books for learning Spanish. But seriously, I'm not, you know, it is, you know that I teach Spanish, most of you that are on here that have seen me before. It is good, you know, it's literally not, you know, it's not only sort of me trying to sell my books, it is good for you. It doesn't have to be Spanish, it could be any language, or anything, but you should keep your brain active and try and learn something, but especially languages. Even if you don't become completely fluent in it or whatever, it just helps, because there's a part of your brain that deals with, like, my housekeeping, there's a part of your brain that deals with languages, and if you keep that part of your brain activated, it's supposed to help. Well, I'm hoping it'll help me, because with my family track record with dementia and Alzheimer's, you know, I feel like I'm sort of, you know, on the back foot, really. So I'm just hoping that it will help. So I'm going to show you, for those of you, I'm sure a lot of you have seen them before, but just so you can see, if you are interested in learning Spanish, these are my books on Amazon, any Amazon site. Break the Language Barrier, levels 1 to 5. Beginners would start with this. Honestly, even if you just do a little bit at a time, or because you can learn at home, you don't have to have classes. This book with the, because I've got another YouTube channel where all the classes are on YouTube as well. It might help. That's all I'm saying. So that's what they reckon, that it helps. And then I just want to show you my Confessions of a Spanish Teacher book, which, if you're interested in knowing anything about me, a little bit more about me and how I came to live in Spain in the first place, that's my confession. I know those are available on any Amazon site. Okay. So going back to the housekeeping, whoops. You don't have Amazon? Oh my God. Sorry, I don't mean to be dramatic, but I love Amazon. You know, having said that, I don't have a car, so Amazon is brilliant. If I need anything, I order it on Amazon. Barb, yes, I would imagine learning a musical instrument is good for your brain too, because you've got to learn the music. I can't read music. I totally don't understand how that works, but some people can read music, can't they, as well? Hi, husky lady. Oh, 61, yeah. Well, do you know what? 61 is the new 31. Yeah, learn how to play the piano. Learn the guitar, learn sort of get a little keyboard. You don't have to have a huge piano. You know, you can just get a keyboard or something like that, or learning anything where you're using your brain is going to be good, isn't it? It's got to be good. Simple. Your brain is like a muscle, so it's like, you know, you go to the gym or you do exercise to try and keep your body in you know, working, if you like, or at least, you know, even if you don't go mad with exercise, you try and do something, don't you? Normally, I like walking, I can't run, or I haven't been to the gym I used to like going to the gym, and I stopped going during COVID, blame COVID for everything. And I haven't got around to going back yet. Well, I haven't got a car, but I've got weights. I could do things here at home, but I've been lazy this year. Oh, you changed your phone number and got locked out. Can't you open a new account? I don't know, or maybe find a way of recovering it. But anyway, so yeah, learn something, do something, keep your brain active. Even on here on YouTube, you can, you know, as I say, you don't have to buy a book or whatever. You can just go on. You can go on my Spanish YouTube channel and learn for free. You know, just follow. Even just, I think it's something to do with the brain. What they call the not atoms, the brain, whatever's. Can't remember. I remind myself of a student of mine now who said to me once, "Oh, you can get these tablets that help your memory," but I can't remember what they're called. You know, that's a bit like me. Yeah, lifting weights is good. All right. Well, Joe H, honestly, cognitive. It is a muscle. Your brain's a muscle just like any other, and it's got different bits to it, hasn't it? So you need to activate the bits that will keep the neurons. That's the word I was looking for. Keep the neurons sort of going, you know. And thing is, your brain ages just like any other part of your body. At the end of the day, you do age. You know, you age, and really, if you've got to 60 without any significant illness, you've done better than a lot of other people. So it's like, but you have to keep things, you know, your brain, you have to use it just as you have to use everything else, every other part of your body. Otherwise, it doesn't like go away, but it gets rusty, doesn't it? So. Yeah, he couldn't remember the tablets that helped him remember. Yeah, dementia's it is a horrible. And the worst thing about dementia is you lose that person before you lose them, if you like. So you know it is quite sad. Anyway, so don't forget to like as well. Don't forget to like the video, because that's the free way you can help me out. I'm just going into my housekeeping mode before I forget now. You can of course join the channel. A lot of you are already members. It goes David, it goes so quickly. I remember everything from when I do. I've been in Spain for 25 years. I feel like I've been here 5 minutes. So, you know, it goes very quickly. You know what they say, life is like toilet roll, isn't it? It starts off, you think you've got loads, and then when it comes near the end, it goes really quick. That's exactly how it is. So what else have I got to mention? Oh yeah, you can buy me a Ko-fi and send me one of these super things, which people have been sending me. Thank you so much. But the most important thing is to like or subscribe. Okay, so getting the housekeeping out of the way. Do you know what I find is, like, because my students will often say to me, "Oh my God, you've got a really good memory to remember all this Spanish." And I don't know why I can remember Spanish. I can hear a word one day and I never forget it. But there's other things I don't remember. And they'll say to me, oh, you remember our names. But that, I think it's something that you just train yourself to do. In other things, I've got a terrible memory. So I suppose it just depends what you have to or you don't have to. Okay, so we've had a look at this celebrity program. Honestly, it was so interesting. I remember watching it, and it was in, you know what Sean's like from the Happy Mondays. I mean, he's funny at the best of times. And June was great just to see her, how her brain at 90, which she was as sharp as anything. So it's interesting, isn't it, how everyone's different. Everyone is so different. Now, the other thing I wanted to just say to you is the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia. So, dementia is a general term, apparently, and Alzheimer's disease is a specific brain disease, which is marked by symptoms of dementia that gradually get worse over time. It is a very gradual thing. It doesn't really happen overnight. So Alzheimer's disease first affects the part of the brain associated with learning. So early symptoms often include changes in memory, thinking, and reasoning skill. So that's why it's important. I mean, it might be crosswords, it might be, it could be anything, but as long as you're doing something that you're using your brain for, it's important. Yeah, here we go. How learning a new language helps brain development. Language learning helps improve people's thinking skills and memory abilities. Bilingual students concentrate better, ignoring distractions. I don't know about that. I'm not very good at ignoring distractions. More effectively than those who only speak one language. So that is one of the benefits that they always hold, when people are trying to say to you about learning languages. That is one of the benefits that is a genuine benefit, that if you try and learn, you don't have to become fluent. You're just studying, you're using your brain, and also using that part of your brain that deals with languages, and that's a very important part of your brain. So right, let me see, what else did I have up here that I wanted to say to you. Now, I think she's been very brave, Fiona Phillips, to come out publicly, and say that she's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. I think she's been very, very brave, because, that's not an easy thing to, oh, is Barb gone? Bye, Barb. I missed her saying goodbye. Oh, computer's dying. I presume the battery's going. Yeah, Charlie, you've developed your neural networks for learning a language, I expect, yeah. Put things in a safe place and then forget where the safe place is. But I've always done that. I'll tell you, something that happened years ago. And I mean years ago, I was probably only about 20. I bought tickets for a Sting concert for my partner at the time. He liked Sting. So I bought these tickets for a surprise for his birthday. And I put them in a safe place. I never found them again. So I was only 20 then, so I couldn't have been starting with early onset dementia then. I do have a little suspicion that my brother, not the one that's passed, my brother that's a couple of years older than me, I have a little suspicion that he might have stolen them and gone to the Sting concert, because they never turned up, these tickets, even when I moved out my mum, because I was living at my mum and dad's house at the time. And even when I moved out, I never found them. So God knows, I must put them in a really safe place. Or if somebody found them and decided to go to the Sting concert themselves. But yeah, what I find in my house now is, my house, it's quite a big house, not big, it's tall, it's on different floors, it's what you would call a townhouse. So there's quite a few floors to it. So what I find here is, I put things in a safe place, and then I can't remember where I've put them, and then I find them when I'm looking for something else. Have you found that? So when whatever you're looking for, you find things, you think, oh, I was looking for that last week. Well, I've bought a new one now because I couldn't find it. But you don't seem to find the thing that you're actually looking for. Whose father not have it? Whose father not have what? Oh, yeah, sorry, I see what you're saying. Yes, you mustn't have been here when we were going through that, David. Yes, her father had it. She said it goes right through her family. So, and that's why I was saying it, unfortunately, it goes through my family as well. So I'm hoping that I'll be the exception. So, yeah. So that's what I just wanted to come on and say. It's a very sad thing, and if anybody's struggling with it there, the other thing I would just say, if you're struggling with a partner or a family member who's got it, go for help. My dad tried to struggle for quite a long time with my mum, and my sister-in-law did the same with my brother, like not wanting to it's that sense of independence, isn't it? Trying to do everything, not wanting the home helps in or the people to interfere or whatever. It's that sort of attitude. But in the end, with my sister-in-law, the hospital said to her, how have you been coping? He needs 24-hour care, and you can't give him 24-hour care. He needs a team. In the end, he needed a team to help look after him. And my sister-in-law had been trying to do it all herself, bless her. But anyway. Okay, so let me tell you what's coming up this week. On Friday, on the live on Friday, I'm going back to a little bit to Nicola Bulley because I'm going to do a live. I've been looking at the forensic pathologist, this Alison Armour. Not really quite sure why she got chosen to do this case, or anyway, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about her. So we're going to talk about that on Friday night, on the Friday Night Live. I'll probably pop up at some point tomorrow. You never know, because you know what I'm like. If there's something in the news or something interesting. Also, on Friday, I'm going to look out for the sentencing of that horrible man that killed the family. And if that is a live sentencing, I'll be on live for that. So I don't have any classes on Friday. So you might see me in the daytime as well on Friday. You might see me in the morning, depending on what's going on. But definitely, if not the other times, Friday night, I'll be doing the Friday Night Live, and it'll be concentrating on this forensic pathologist and other little bits of information that I've picked up here and there about Nicola. I'm trying to stick to sort of facts that there's all sorts of things going around Facebook still, and trying to sort of establish what's real and what's not real is not easy. But anyway, I can't do these hand waving things. Anyway, okay, look, you're all chatting away. It's great. You do I think you like to get on here and get a chat going, don't you? Who's studying? Oh, Desi is studying, yeah. So I just want to change a thing about him. That's your partner that you're talking about. Yeah, I'm just trying to catch up on the chat while I've been chatting myself. Okay, so as always, remember to always live and love very carefully. Learn a language or do something with your brain. Study like Desi's studying. Do something, anything. Just keep your brain active, no matter how old you are. Because somebody on the chat was saying that they knew someone had started at 48, weren't they? So thing is, when you're young, you never think, do you? When you're in your 20s, your 30s, you don't even think about these things. And then before you know it, there it is. So you do have to think about them. I know, I have to catch up on chat because you're all chatting away. Oh, well, let me just say, so funny things because there are funny things as well when someone, I think she did have the wrong pathologist. I'm going to talk about that on Friday. But, you know, sometimes when I used to speak to my brother on the phone or whatever, they're just funny, some of the things. He always knew who I was, to be fair. My brother, he always knew who I was when I phoned him. It's just he would say things like, he would be having a conversation with you, and then he would be watching the telly, and he would say, oh, he's doing such and such, oh no, or whatever. So you'd have to find the channel that he was watching, because he was thinking that was real, that whatever was on at the home or whatever. So I'd like be flicking through the channels until I get to the channel that was showing the program that he was watching, and then we could talk about it then. But yes, don't forget to like. Thank you, Joe H. See you on Friday. Hasta viernes. So in Spanish, I'm going to put it here. Hasta. I'll give you a little Spanish class here to improve your brain ages. Hasta viernes. See you on Friday, but I might see you before that, but definitely by Friday. So remember to always live and love very carefully, learn a few words of another language, and look after yourself first, because you are the most important person. And until I see you again, may your God go with you. Thank you.